So if you're anything like me, you logged into the new Minecraft update and tried to use that OP silverfish farm that everybody's been abusing for the past 4 months, just to find out that the trident placement is much more difficult and almost doesn't work at all. While you can get it to work in some cases, it is way too annoying to be consistent, and so I decided to make a much better design. This new design utilizes the type of trident killer typically seen in gold farms. While it might not be as efficient as the old one, it is the best that we have that consistently works as of right now. I also decided to include some nice quality of life features, such as an easy access chamber to quickly get in if you accidentally pick up the tridents. I also included an alignment bar so that you can get as close as possible to the farm easily without accidentally picking up the tridents to make sure you get the most XP pouring out. The materials required for this farm aren't too bad either. I'm going to be building mine out of cherry planks and glass for the most part, just so I can see inside of it as easily as possible, but you can really use whatever. You're also going to need a sign, 2 trapdoors, sand, cactus, and a composter for the armadillo holding chamber. As many armadillos as you would like, I found that 2 to 4 typically works best if you want to avoid lag. You're also going to need a zombie, the rails and minecart needed to get the armadillos inside of the composter, name tags to name any armadillos or zombies that you use, and an anvil for those, 2 iron bars for the alignment system, 4 pistons, 4 observers, 4 redstone torches, 3 redstone dust, 2 levers, 2 redstone lamps, and a sticky piston for the trident killing chamber. You can use as many tridents as you would like. I've found that about 2 tridents per armadillo is best if you want to avoid lag and get XP as quick as possible, a water bucket to funnel the silverfish into the chamber, and a splash potion of infestation for every time you want to use the farm. Alright, so to get started, I'm just going to build in this area. You can really place this wherever you want. You just want to start by placing the sand, cactus, and composter down. And then I'm just going to dig out a little chamber for our zombie. Make sure that whatever block you have the zombie in, there's blocks above it so that they don't die to the sunlight. You can also give the zombie a helmet, or if you find a zombie with a helmet, it's nice, but it's not required. And then you're either going to want to name the zombie or find a zombie that can hold items and give it an item of your choosing. That will make it never despawn. And then you're going to want to build a little chamber around the zombies so that they can't get out. I mean, they can't really anyways. And then place 2 more blocks in this direction. And then just to stay on the same layer here, we're actually going to build the bottom portion of the trident killer next. You're just going to go with a little rotating pattern like that. And you're going to build 4 of these little modules. And then what you're going to do next, just to make sure this works, place a lever on this piston right here. Activate it once and unactivate it. And you'll see whenever the lever is not activated, this will constantly be cycling. That's what you want. Next, we're going to place a sticky piston on this composter, a block above the sticky piston with a lever, 2 more blocks attached to that. I'm doing this all in survival just to show that it's possible in survival, so you're going to need some scaffolding stuff like this. And I'm going to place 3 redstone dust like that. Next, I'm going to place glass all around this chamber. I'm actually not going to place a glass block right here, instead right here, so that it gets pushed in whenever the lever is activated, and you'll see why in a minute here. Finally, place a glass block right there. Make sure not to place a glass block in this area because it's where you'll be standing collecting the XP from the farm. Next, you're going to want to place a redstone lamp at this location and this location, followed by a trapdoor there. What this is going to do is create a system where this lever activates, putting you into this crawling stance so that you can throw tridents into the chamber. And what the redstone lamps are for is to show you what portion of the farm you're currently able to access. They're not required as it's very easy to memorize, but I like having them in there. So when the trident killer is activated, this redstone lamp lights up, telling you to stand right here. And when it's deactivated, it's telling you you have access to the farm. Next, you can place in the 2 iron bars to align you to the farm. These aren't necessary, and you can get a tiny bit closer than it really recommends. Just make sure you don't go past the halfway mark. Otherwise, you're going to accidentally pick up the tridents while they're being pushed around. Next, you're going to want to place glass on these 3 positions. Make sure not to place glass here because this is the funnel where the silverfish will come in. I found that having glass at these locations makes it harder for the silverfish to jump around on the piston heads. You want a little bit of jumping around because they're very good at avoiding the tridents, but you don't want too much. Next, I'm actually going to show you how to get the armadillos into the chamber. So I'm going to come out here and build a little railway system. Once you've got your armadillo into the position, you're just going to want to give them a little push. Sometimes it takes a little extra nudge. It might take a few attempts here. So you can see in that case, it did not work. And in that case, it did. You can already see they're taking a bunch of damage from the cactus, but they're never going to die because they're in their shell in a vulnerable state because of the zombie. While I'm here, I'm going to name the first armadillo so that it does not despawn. And then I'm going to get the next armadillo in there. Make sure when you're doing this in your world to name the armadillos before you put them into the system, as it's very difficult to name them when they're in the composter. And place a glass block right there to block it off on that side. I'm actually also going to replace these with glass blocks just so that there's maximum visibility for this. I'm going to build a little funnel system for the water. On the hole where the silverfish will fall down, you're going to want to place a sign to block the water, and then you're going to want to place the water in there. Next, you can cap off this water stream to make sure that no silverfish escape. Optionally, you can place glass blocks anywhere where you see potential areas where silverfish could escape, such as right here. I've noticed they don't escape all the time, but just so that you can AFK the farm for at least the duration of the potions, I would do it as a safety precaution. And as unbelievable as it might be, the farm is actually done in this state. I included an extra trap door, so we're just going to get rid of that. And yeah, the farm is done. So what you're going to do is you're going to come right here, open this up to get into the crawl stance. Try and throw the tridents on the lower half of this block. If it accidentally hits this, it's no big deal. You can just pick it up and try again. So now I've cleared my levels and destroyed an additional block I forgot right here. And I'm going to do a time lapse to show just how efficient this farm is. I decided I'm just going to handle this guy myself. Sometimes they can get caught in there. It's not too big of a deal. You can also keep the trident killer on and pick up the tridents if you need a weapon to kill them. Yeah, that's really all there is to it. It's a very simple farm design, very easy to build. Unfortunately, not as efficient as the previous ones, but as you can see, with just 2 armadillos, it only took a handful of minutes to get up to almost level 50, and I found that it can very easily get you to level 30 in just a minute. There are some potential changes you can make to this farm yourself. If you need the zombie in either of these positions, you can do that if you so desire. You can also include a dispenser here facing the composter with the potions and a button if you wish to activate it that way instead. And like I said before, those inner 3 glass blocks you might not need. I've just found that allowing the silverfish to jump in just the 1 block makes them dodge the tridents a little bit less, but your mileage may vary. I would like to say that while I was working on this video, I did look on YouTube to see if anybody else was working on a similar design, and I found user NovaXYZV made a very similar farm to mine using that dispenser method I had talked about, but I did not try and copy their design. If you have any suggestions on ways to improve this farm, I would love to hear them, and I would encourage you to go and check out my other YouTube videos if you like my content, as well as that previously mentioned NovaXYZV user for their interpretation of the design. Thanks for watching.